So it had been shared by the chairperson just now that we have a great products that today I'm going to share with you the new edition of whatever that we had previously. This is what we call the UGCare Plus. Okay. So as you know that I'm a doctor, I'm quite meticulous in looking at the products. So I'm not simply believe of whatever that people telling me whether the product is good or not. I need to check it quite thoroughly, especially because it needs to be consumed by us, that whether it's harmful to the body or not, that is a very, very important thing for you to check. So I am so happy to know that the UGreat International had a product that already undergone the various stages of research, and as well as they have voluntarily go through the various organizations for the certification of their product. For example, like in the HACCP, which is the international bodies, and we have few the national level that we have halal, we have GMP, and as well as the MESTI. So all these product gone through for the certification for the purpose that to ensure that whatever the product that has been produced by the company is has certain standard quality which is beneficial to the body and not harm to the body. That's a very, very important thing for anyone that would like to the product that being produced by any other company. So we are lucky because we have the product that gone through to the various certification as I mentioned earlier. All right. Okay. So let's go and see. Okay, what is the most important in our life, especially at this current situation? Of course, I think everybody will agree with me that health is very, very important. Money cannot buy health. So therefore, what is health actually? Health is defined as absence of disease, whereby the state of being free from the illnesses or any injuries, and it implies a maximum capacity of the individual for self-realization and self-fulfillment. In this era, we would like to keep our body in a very good situation so that we don't want anything that may harm the body either externally or internally. So what we need to do, we need to take a certain precaution how to maintain the health. And most of us, maybe we don't really realize that we had such a precious thing whereby we are here today. We are in the good health, and we only notice the health so precious whenever that we already had an illness. All right. So I believe that if anywhere in the world or wherever you are, you will agree with me that prevention from getting the disease or illnesses is better rather than cure the disease. All right. And therefore, it is a must to take a good care for your health. Okay. Okay, how to take care of the good health? Of course, you must know that what are the healthy things for you to consume. So in order to see that, we must eat a healthy, balanced diet with lots of vegetables and fruits. At the same time, especially nowadays, we must keep our immunization up to date. So we need to take the vaccine as currently that being, everybody must know that how important is the vaccine against the coronavirus. And I'm sure that when a baby, as they grow up, they had a few doses of the vaccine that related to the certain diseases, depends on your country schedule. And apart from that, we don't want, or we try to prevent or getting close or consume anything that may harm the body. For example, tobacco, the vape products, the alcohol, or the drugs. And at the same time, you must maintain the health by have a regular exercise, because we need to maintain whatever the stamina we have, and in order to prevent other associated to the diseases like an obesity. Okay, because a lot of diseases currently they are having an association with the obesity. All right, and then at the same time, we must aware about our emotion and our moods. Don't get into a unnecessary stress, especially nowadays. A lot of people out there, maybe they are having a lot of problem, especially during the pandemic, whereby they might lost their job, so therefore they have problem in their financial. So must keep away from the stress by doing a lot of other activity that might having a good or benefit for you. Especially in this company, you might join the company and you may build the business so that you are away from the financial problem. All right. Okay. The next one, you must make sure that you have enough sleep. Do you know this sleep is very, very important. People may die if they don't have enough sleep, because the brain need to have certain time, a rest, in order to the body to go on their, to process whatever that unnecessary toxin to be removed during the sleeping. And then we need rest during the sleep for the body to produce certain hormone that will keep the body healthy. And then the next one is, maybe you need to wear a proper protection or PPE, either at home or at work or while playing or anything. Especially nowadays, maybe in certain countries, you are still in the movement control order. So you need to keep yourself, stay at home. Don't go outside if you don't have anything that very, very important. All right. And then apart from that, of course, you need to see your doctors or any healthcare provider in order for you to keep checking on your health. If you feel that something is not right, please do so, because we don't want that the certain diseases might be in the body for so long that it will further deteriorating, and the severity of the disease might be too late for any treatment or anything to do by the doctor. All right. Okay. So the next thing that I want to talk regarding, what are the things that may cause the diseases? So as you see and you look around you, you may see the air, the condition of the air. It might be polluted by various causes, like for example, air pollution, water pollution. And it comes from smoke, from the transportation, can from the any of the industrial that may produce harmful smoke to the surrounding. But the most important thing, you know, that the smoke that produced by the cigarette or by the vape that normally being consumed by certain people, and whoever that sit next to them may get the effect of the smoke. What we call this one is a secondary smoker. It also very, very important that for us to know that what is our right. We can tell whoever that next sit to us, whether they are smoking, they are using vapes, please ask them to stop. All right. Okay, and then the next one that you may also know that stress. Stress is something that a rising problem nowadays. So it's something that a very serious issue, as we know that we might heard in the news that people are killing themselves or suicide. So if they don't do and it progress, the stress may lead to the diseases as well. And then apart from that, the lifestyle. The lifestyle of certain people, they may be having a good lifestyle. They don't have enough exercise. what we call the sedentary lifestyle. So this also will create a diseases. So we don't want this to happen. And sometimes people used to eat late at night before they go to sleep. So this is a very bad habit that they may have higher risk to have a diseases. And of course, everyone knows that the diet also very important. That's why today I'm going to talk about whatever that we put in our body is a very, very important in order for us to keep the body healthy. All right. So the product today as a new addition to the whatever that you have before, today we have UGCare Plus. Why this is so great? So let me see. What is the ingredient in this UGCare Plus? As everyone know that artichoke is one of their main ingredient, which commonly we have this artichoke or Cynara that will be collected from the Mediterranean Europe, and their plant extract is known as cynaropicrin. Why this cynaropicrin is important? Because this cynaropicrin contains anti-inflammation, anti-aging effect, antioxidant, anti-hyperlipidemia, which is against the bad fat, and it also has an antiviral, antiparasites, antimicrobacteria. And all this effect is through their mechanism by blocking the production of the NFKB. What is NFKB? It's a cell in the body. They may produce a lot of chemical mediators that involve in inflammation. Therefore, it will cause the disease in the body. So this is one of the important ingredient in the UGCare Plus. Okay. So before we go to the next ingredient that I just would like to share with you, this anti-inflammation or cynaropicrin, they has been published in a few articles or journal regarding their good effect to the body through their anti-inflammatory mechanism. So one of the example or that I can tell you here is whereby the cynaropicrin can help the body from to lower the production of the radical oxygen species. What is radical oxygen species? This is the product of the cell as a result of the injury to the cell. This is what we call the toxin that may cause the disease. Either they cause further cell damage or injury or death, or sometimes they may cause the cell to mutate, to change their chromosome and become more cell being produced, which are able to be stopped. For example, it becomes a tumor. The cells are proliferating without any stimulus, and they keep on proliferating that give a mass or any lump in the body. So this is the thing that everyone should know, because we don't want the body get injured from various radical oxygen species that may produce by the cell that had injured. Okay, I think we go to the next important ingredient that we may encounter in the UGCare Plus is a dokudabi leaf. This is commonly found in Southeast Asia, especially in Japan. They are free from any toxic or chemical, or as well as pesticides. Their plant extract is quercetin or flavonoid. It also has similar effect as what that we have seen in artichoke, whereby it has an anti-inflammation effect, it has an antioxidant, antiviral, parasites, microbacteria. Because the leaf has a lot of fiber inside the leaf has a lot of fiber, so it prevents someone that consume will have a better digestion and prevent constipation. And at the same time, as it has a lot of fiber, it removes a lot of fat in the digestive system. Therefore, it may lower the fat in the blood and cause the blood pressure to be controlled properly. Okay. Yeah, this is, I think, the one that an added value to the UGCare Plus, whereby we have a new ingredient that we call it Aphaniziminum floss acre, or in short, we call it AFA. What is AFA? Okay, AFA is a blue-green algae. It's a ubiquitous species of filamentous algae. It's naturally blue-green algae and wild crafted and collected on the surface of the Klamath Lake, Oregon, USA. It grows in a pristine, rich in mineral environment that cannot be duplicated synthetically. So meaning that it's naturally grow in the lake. Human cannot imitate the environment whereby this blue-green algae grows. It contains a very highly nutritious and absolutely non-toxic, and at the same time, it contains amino acid profile that has an identical to the human amino acid. Maybe you would like to ask, what is amino acid? Amino acid is very important molecule that present in our chromosome. What is chromosome? It's a DNA material that have in the cells. So meaning that their amino acid or whatever the protein contained in this blue-green algae had a similar structure as what we have in our body. Okay, one of this blue-green algae is one of the most important concentrated natural foodstuff on our planet, and it offers a maximum of important micronutrient with the minimum calories. So we have a lot of important micronutrient with the very minimum calorie inside that. So it's good to be consumed because it doesn't give us a lot of calorie like what we have in our rice, in our bread and so on. And at the same time, it has about 30 antioxidants and as well as the anti-inflammatory agent, which is come from the very active ingredient in the blue-green algae that we call phycocyanin. What is phycocyanin? Because you know this blue-green algae produce their food through the photosynthesis, and this will give rise to the formation of the phycocyanin. Phycocyanin has a very powerful antioxidant and as well as the anti-inflammatory activities. Apart from that, this blue-green algae also contain about 68 minerals and 70 trace elements. I can list it here more, but I can't put it everything here. As you can see, it has a lot of calcium, chloride, chromium, cuprum, iron, magnesium, phosphorus, and so on. And at the same time, it also contains about 13 vitamins. What are they? There are vitamin A, vitamin C, E, K, and many of the B complex vitamins. At the same time, it has about 70 to 75% protein by dry weight. And all these proteins are digestible. So as you know that human unable to digest all the protein, the fat, or the nutrient that what we eat currently. So only certain molecules that are able to absorb. So therefore, blue-green algae has almost 100% the protein inside the blue-green algae are able to be absorbed by our intestine. So it's so good. And it also contains the essential fatty acid, which is also very important. You may see in all other food supplements, they claim that they have all this, especially omega-6 and omega-3. What is the benefit of this blue-green algae? As what I had mentioned previously, for the artichoke and the dokudami leaf, they also have a more or less similar mechanism to make sure that our body, whoever that consume this UGCare Plus, by modulating the immune system. I'm sure you will read a lot, or you may heard that regarding the complication of the COVID-19 infection, they are associated with overwhelming of the immune response, because the virus stimulate our body to produce unnecessary immune or antibody that may harm our own self. So this blue-green algae, they have the benefit whereby they are regulate the immune system but have a better patrol via the natural killer cells, or we call it NK cells. So this is something that very essential for us to know, that we don't want our body overproduce or has a very less amount of antibody. We need balance between the antibody that present in our body, whether to attack the pathogen, such as nowadays we are talking about the COVID-19, or whether to stop the production of antibody whenever the pathogen or any etiology for the disease or infection has been alleviated from the body. And apart from that, the blue-green algae is rich in the antioxidant, as I mentioned in the previous slide. It has an anti-inflammation and anti-cancer from the active ingredient that we call the phycocyanin. And as a result of the reduce the inflammation, because the inflammation of the blood vessel can cause the blood vessels obstruction that can lead to increase in the blood pressure. So therefore, it has a better control in the blood pressure. For the diabetes, it may help to control the diabetes by enhance the activity of the insulin, because you know those that having a diabetes mellitus, because they don't have enough insulin, or they don't have a very little insulin, therefore the sensitivity of the insulin towards the cell is very, very low. So with the blue-green algae, it may help to control the blood sugar, therefore can control the diabetes mellitus. And then apart from that, it has antimicrobacteria, it has an anti-erythema because it contains the sun protective factors. And it also may relieve the allergic symptom, because allergic symptom, you know, is associated with the overproduction of the antibody towards our own cells. So therefore, it may control the production of the antibody so that it won't harm the cells in the body. And it may also improve the cholesterol level by having a lot of fibers. Therefore, the absorption of the bad fat can be reduced. And in women that in the perimenopause or around the area of menopausal period, so they may help to reduce the symptom of the menopausal. Because of the high fibers in this blue-green algae, it helps to improve the weight loss, and as well as to improve the liver function. Because you know why? The liver has been working in order to detoxify whatever that we had consumed. So if we keep the body less toxin being produced in the body, so less work for the liver. So the liver function will be improved eventually. Okay, we talk so much about this good thing about the blue-green algae. As a doctor, I would like to see what is the evidence about the benefit of the blue-green algae. So there are various publications or journals that has been mentioned from their study or research regarding the good effect of the blue-green algae, whereby it has a property inside the blue-green algae, which is the phycocyanin. It helps in the as an antioxidant and as well as the anti-inflammatory. And then apart from that, it also has mentioned that the antioxidant properties that has been studied or researched with the active ingredient in the blue-green algae, which is the phycocyanin. So you can see here is a lot either in Cuba, in Italy, and then we have some here, the publication that has been produced. And this is quite, I think, exciting thing, whereby it helps in the mobilization of these cells, which is good in order to promote the proliferation of the stem cell. Maybe some of you know what is stem cells. Stem cell is a very virgin cell that produced by the body, commonly found in the bone marrow. These stem cells are able to give rise to certain type of cell or organ later on. So a lot of study has been done in order to look into the ability of the stem cell to form certain organ like a heart, which is very precious. We don't see so far someone would like to donate their heart while they are still alive, unless they are dead, right? Okay, so this is a quite interesting finding actually. And then apart from that, as usual, that we know that blue-green algae has an immuno enhancer and the biomodulator. As I mentioned earlier, we don't want that our antibody to be produced too much or either is too little. So this blue-green algae helps to regulate the antibody production. Okay, the other publication of the journals that has been produced regarding the rapid effect on the circulation or function of the immune cells by this AFA, and then the effect on the absorption of the blue-green algae that are contained in the AFA. So it has a better absorption, therefore it's good for us to consume, and we won't waste whatever that has been consumed if about almost 100% being absorbed, right? Because we buy, of course, we want it to be benefit to the cells. It's not to be wasted, right? Okay. Okay. So we know that UGCare Plus has a lot of quality ingredient from the various form of the plant extracts. So how do we maintain whatever the good or benefit of the plant extract that being preserved to be reproduced for us as a consumer that would like to consume whatever that contained in the UGCare Plus? So this is whereby the company has a very good that patented technology that we call it bioactive dehydrations. As you know, protein is a very liable to the heat. It might destroy if the temperature above than 50 degrees Celsius. So therefore, we need to make sure to protect whatever the active and good quality ingredient in this plant extract to be preserved properly, to be so that we can have the benefit when we are consuming the product. So through this bioactive dehydration, the process in order to produce the product, the temperature is never exceed the body temperature, which is must be less than 41 degrees Celsius. And at the same time, the time to be processed cannot be more than 2 minutes. Otherwise, whatever the ingredient that is very quality inside this UGCare Plus will be destroyed. So therefore, it's a waste for us, right? And at the same time, it has a technology that has been incorporated into the production of this product by the what we call the oxy-guide. What is oxy-guide? Oxy-guides whereby whatever the active ingredient is inside the plant extract has been shielded from the exposed to the oxygen. The moment whatever the active ingredient, which is a good quality, exposed to the oxygen, it may be oxidized. Once it becomes oxidized, so it will lose whatever the good benefit that we have in this plant extract. So we are lucky that we have such good technology that able to protect whatever the ingredient inside the product. Okay. Other ingredient of the UGCare Plus include the cranberry. I'm sure that everybody know what is cranberry, which is rich in antioxidant, vitamin C, minerals, and as well as fibers. Therefore, it helps to improve the cardiovascular system and the eyesight, and also able to regulate the immune system, lowering the blood pressure, and as well as a very peculiar, if you are really, you go and see your doctor regarding that you're having the urinary tract infection, frequent urinary tract infection, the doctor may say, why don't you take the cranberry juice? So this is a very peculiar the mechanism that normally the cranberry can do, all right? And then the other one is pomegranate, which is also superfood, whereby it's rich in antioxidant and loaded with a lot of important nutrients, including fibers, vitamins, mineral, and bioactive plant compound. So it helps to reduce the inflammation of the joint, which is arthritis, either the inflammation as a result of the immune or antibody, or due to the old age or degenerative. It also may help to reduce the risk of the heart disease, or at the same time, because of the antioxidant effect, it also helps to reduce the breast cancer and the prostate cancer formation. And the other important and also a good ingredient in the UGCare Plus is cyberry. It also rich in anthocyanin, which is also an antioxidant, vitamins, trace mineral, and it helps to improve the cholesterol level. Therefore, it prevents from heart problem, skin problem. At the same time, the cyberry also regulate the blood pressure, immune system, and the digestive system. Because of rich in the antioxidant, with all the minerals that has in the cyberry, it also helps us to look younger by delaying the premature aging, right? And then the other one is honeydew melon, which is rich in water, vitamin C and potassium, and therefore it prevents dehydration and improve the blood sugar, promote health, skin, And also, if you know that some people might think those that having diabetes mellitus cannot consume any fruit, but actually honeydew is good for the diabetes mellitus because it does not contain high sugar. So it should or it can be consumed by those that having the diabetes mellitus. Okay. So I thought so much about the ingredient. As you know that in my previous slide that I have showed that how these active ingredients that have in the UGCare Plus prevent from the inflammation. Why so important about the inflammation? Because inflammation can lead to diseases. So in the case of the inflammation related to the cell of the heart, like in this case, whereby you can see a lot of this what we call the inflammatory cells, including the immune cell that can damage the cell of the heart. Therefore, someone having this inflammation of the heart cell can have heart problem. So therefore, with the anti-inflammatory action that have in the UGCare can help to prevent the heart diseases. Okay. The inflammation actually can be divided into two forms. The first one is acute inflammation. As you can see here, this is an inflammation of the skin whereby it has area of redness with the bleeding. So this is normally that occurs in a very short period, and if this acute inflammation is not treated properly, it can lead to further damage to the surrounding cell of the skin that it also may cause formation of cancer. This is another form of acute infection, acute inflammation related to the skin, whereby this is more of allergic in nature. This commonly occur that we call it as what? Eczema, or some people may call it dermatitis. So this is what happened when the immune system in the body is not being regulated properly. So it attacks the cell of the skin that produce the acute inflammation. So this is the effect of the whenever that antibody is not being regulated properly. Okay, the next form or type of inflammation is chronic inflammation, which is a more dangerous because it happens in the body chronically. It will take longer period of time. Sometimes we are not aware about the chronic inflammation has been going on in our body. And this chronic inflammation normally associated of various systems in the body. For example, like in the cardiovascular system, that can lead to obstruction of the blood vessel that we call atherosclerosis, that can cause blood flow to the heart is not being cut off. Then someone that having this atherosclerosis can have the heart attack, or we call it ischemic heart disease. All right, and then in the other chronic diseases that commonly occur in the human is a diabetic mellitus, whereby the body is unable to produce enough insulin because of the inflammation that occur in the organ that we call pancreas, that usually or supposed to produce enough insulin whenever that we eat diet with sugar and so on. All right. And then if you know about other chronic inflammatory diseases that related to the unregulated immune system, like inflammatory bowel disease, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, rheumatoid arthritis, SLE, psoriasis, and so on. And then for the bone, muscle, and skeletal can lead to joint pain, osteoarthritis, osteoporosis, and sometimes can cause muscle dystrophy. And not to mention about this cancer, the chronic inflammation can also lead to a cancer. For example, lung cancer, kidney, gastric, colon, and so on, as a result of the chronic inflammation. And others like a liver disorder, and also about the neurological disorder that including the Alzheimer's disease, which is a keep on rising nowadays. Yeah. Okay, this is an example of the chronic inflammation that occur in the blood vessel of the heart. This is the normal blood vessel that allowing the blood flow nicely in the blood vessel. Whenever that there is an injury to the cell that lining the blood vessel, what will happen? The fat will start accumulating, lining the internal surface of the blood vessel, and slowly it growing up, and later it may cause an occlusion or obstruction of the lumen like this. Therefore, the cell of the heart may have reduced the blood supply, and it can cause an heart attack. So therefore, we don't want this to happen, because this is such a small blood vessel that need to be always, all the time, need to be patterned or open. The lumen need to be widely open in order for the blood flow nicely to supply the oxygen and the nutrients to the muscle of the heart. Okay, this is a picture that just showing the lung that has a cancer within the lung parenchyma. So this is how the mass or the tumor looks like. And as you can see, the lung here is a very dark in color. And you can see this is the respiratory tract, or sometimes we call it bronchioles. So what happened to the blackish? It could be as a result of the smoke, either the smoke that we inhale via the cigarette, the vapes, or from the air that has been polluted, that can cause an inflammation along the respiratory tract and including the lung. You can see a lot of dark area. This is as a result of the inflammation, and later the tumor that can occur in the lung. Similarly here, this is the liver. The normal liver doesn't have all this nodule. What is the nodule called? It is a cirrhosis as a result of the chronic inflammation that lead to formation of the nodule, and later it become a cancer nodule here. So this is the effect of the chronic inflammation, and later it progressed to the formation of the cancer. Okay, this is just to show you the analogy about the aging skin cells that can occur. So this is how the skin, healthy skin will look like. It gives rise to the flawless with no wrinkle. And you can see under the microscope, you will see the cells of the skin are nicely arranged. They don't have any disorganization. This is what represents the youthful skin structure. On the right side, this is unhealthy skin that gives rise to the coarse, dry, and sometimes obvious wrinkle and uneven contour. So under the microscope, that what we would see, there is disorganization of the cell of the skin. It does not have any pattern or regular pattern. That is what is the aging skin structure looks like. How the skin get injured is still the same. It can be due to either the unregulated the immune system in the body, or injured through the UV light, to the rays that produced by our gadget like handphone, computer, and then sometimes from the smokes or whatever in the air that can also cause an injury to the cell of the skin. Okay, Now we know the effects of the inflammation, either acute or chronic, and we are happy because we have the product that would help us to keep our health in the good shape, so that we are not getting any diseases, and we should keep the health at the very optimal state. All right. So the UGCare, some people may that have a different effect. Either maybe someone had a faster effect, maybe someone may have a longer effect. So this is because that individual are different. Okay, as you know that the digestion of the food is must go through from the oral cavity to the pharynx, esophagus, stomach, and up to the rectum. And the total length of our gastrointestinal tract is about 9 meters or 30 feet. So can you imagine how long it is? So therefore, there are many factors that may influence the absorption, whatever the micronutrient that we are consumed through the mouth. So it is in the gastrointestinal tract, there are many factors that may affect the assimilation of the nutrients. First is probably the age. The older you are, probably your digestive system is not as good as when you are young. So therefore, the absorption is cannot be efficient as what in the younger people. And the condition of the gastrointestinal tracts are different from one individual to another individual. The ability to absorb and whether the presence of infection or inflammation in the gastrointestinal tract. And also sometimes some people may have certain allergy to the certain nutrients that may be consumed by them. So these are the things that may also influence the absorption. Therefore, the effect of whatever that I have mentioned earlier may take a different duration to be seen by someone. And the type of the nutrient also very important, and it should be in the small molecule, what we call the micromolecule, or in the form of an extract component. So you compare when you eat a raw vegetable, compare with the one that you may have UGCare Plus that has been extracted to the diversity technology, that we have small molecule that can easily be absorbed. So obviously, whatever that has been processed in the form of small size molecule can be absorbed more effectively compared to the raw vegetable that we consume every day. And then the composition of the nutrient also very important, that it may also influence the rate of the absorption. And there's certain nutrients that may have certain level of whether they can dissolve in the fluid, whether they can be dissolved in the fat, and so on. So it has a various ability to be absorbed, whether which component of the molecule that present, either they are fat soluble or water soluble. All right. Okay, in conclusion, that I would like to say that a plant, the UGCare Plus has a plant extract nutrient that has a smaller size, which is easier for any one of us to be consumed, either you are young or old. At least it has a better rate of absorption compared that when we eat the raw vegetables. And it has gone through a special process that we call that bioactive dehydration, whereby it incorporates the oxyguide procedure, whereby it shields the product from being exposed to the oxygen or to the oxidation. So whatever the active ingredient that contain in this product will be preserved and therefore it has a better absorption to give a good or optimum benefit to the body. So I would like to stress here that UGCare Plus is not a medication, but it is a food supplement that containing high quality ingredients to nourish your body. So because we are what we eat, and we can literally transform our body and mind by choosing an inspiring diet.